Thanks. That's impressive. There's like 5 people here, and the claps were actually loud. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for staying so late. So yeah, we're Laura and Alicia. We're both
Hi.
UX researchers, as you know. We are both started at Allegro. We are both currently at Zendesk. And despite our amazingly youthful looks, we have actually been in the industry for quite a long time. Laura started in 2017, I've started in 2013. And for the most part of our careers, the industry has been growing nicely and steadily, and we kind of grew nicely and steadily with it. Okay, here I don't have light in my face. That's relief. But lately, we've been feeling like things kind of sped up and got a little bit more complicated. So what drove that? There are a couple of things. One is definitely uncontrolled hiring and then massive layoffs in the industry. It didn't impact the Polish market that much, but still it shapes the way the industry is right now. The second one is, you know the drill. I have to mention AI, right, in the presentation. Yeah, so generative AI, it impacts not only the tooling that we are using, but also the expectations towards efficiency of all the employees. And there is one more thing, but I have to build up to it a little bit. So, because it comes from something that we've been seeing for a long time. Designers indicate that they need research in their work, and they do not always get it. And researchers just can't do it all, right? They don't have enough time, resources, and so on. And it's kind of a good thing, I think, because it means that research is finally ingrained into IT industry, and there is actual demand for it. And it happened a little bit top-down because the industry leaders started doing research, so it was a good practice, but also it started to happen bottom-up on the level of all the different companies, and it goes something like this. First researcher or first researchers join the company, or maybe designer is very passionate about research, and they are starting to build trust towards research within the company. They are showing that it decreases risk, that it may be impacting something more than just like evaluation, but also we can do something strategic. And then inevitably the demand for research grows, and we kind of can't do it all anymore. So there are 2 ways. Either UX team is growing, which is an ideal situation in which researchers can still do all the research in all the areas, although it also means that we might be not doing the most interesting or impactful projects. And the alternative is less ideal. UX research team stays the same. And then we either, after talking to everybody how important the research is and how we should all apply it, we say, okay, we're not going to do it, right? The research is not going to happen in this project. Or alternative is this scary D word that I was building up to, so democratization situation in which not only researchers but also other roles do the research. And I think a couple of years back, there was this huge conversation within the industry. Should we be doing democratization? Is it gonna lower the quality? Is it gonna destroy UX research as it is? And now we have somewhat of a consensus, but not because the research elders gathered and agreed on something, but rather because people are just doing research. Non-researchers want to know about their users, and having dedicated researchers is somewhat of the luxury nowadays. Yeah, so this was kind of my spiel. Now we wanted to ask you a couple of questions. There are not that many people at this time left, so I'm not sure how we're gonna do it. But yeah, maybe show of hands. If in your organization, not only researchers, but also other people do research. There you go.
Okay, so despite the huge crowd we see, there's nearly a half of you. And yeah, this is definitely not the best sample, so we won't draw any conclusions from it, especially that even if this room was full, we are still at the design conference, so yeah, it might be, the sample might be a bit biased, but that proves our point, and before we move on to that, let me say a few words of context about Zendesk. If you haven't heard about Zendesk, honestly, we wouldn't be too surprised because it's a customer service solution platform, and our customers are businesses. So maybe, probably you have had some interaction with Zendesk before, but you didn't even realize it. Let's say that your food delivery from Pyszne.pl got mixed up, and instead of margarita pizza, you got Hawaiian. And now you want to sort this out because this is the wrong order, and you are reaching out to customer support, and that infrastructure behind it, that's Zendesk. So Zendesk hires around 6,000 people worldwide, and out of those, 1,500 around, give or take, are interacting with customers on a regular basis, and this excludes customer support team. So that means that product managers, product designers, people from product marketing, go-to-market teams, they are all talking to customers on a regular basis. Even our CEO regularly goes to our customers and gathers feedback. So maybe you're asking yourself, where does that leave research team? So our research team is 8 researchers, 8 specialists, 1 research operations specialist, and then 2 managers. So I don't know how about you, but when I saw this for the first time, I thought, okay, this is the relatively small team for such a big company. And what does this team do when nearly a quarter of company talks to customers? Does that mean that Alicia and Laura will lose their jobs soon? Maybe show of hands, who thinks we will? Don't be shy, we won't judge. No one thinks that. Wow, okay, you believe in us.
We appreciate you.
I was ready to prepare that someone is secretly hoping for that if someone votes yes, but well, okay. Luckily, it's not that bad. We hope not to lose our jobs. The trend in the industry is that not only researchers conduct research, and actually part of the job description has become that researchers are also supporting other roles in conducting research. So it's not something that is exclusive for Zendesk. It is actually a trend in the industry. And that brings us to the evolution of researchers. So back in the day, what Alicia mentioned before, when we were starting our careers, we, as researchers, were more of a hunters-gatherers, so finders. We were the ones gathering the research ourselves and then doing it with our own bare hands. And the role was pretty straightforward, as the clear lines between the roles. So it was very clear that we had monopoly over the contact with customers, and that was easier. And as evolution progressed, we are starting to see that we are moving towards more of a producer, builder kind of role. So we are not the only ones producing the insights. We are also sharing the research practices that help other roles do this research as well. And I don't know how about you, but when I was hearing about the democratization, I was a bit skeptical at first, and I still am to some extent, but the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, what about the quality of research? What about people who don't have the skill set to do it? Doing that, isn't it risky? And we believe that there are some foundations, there are pillars that if we do it right, we set ourselves up for success when it comes to the democratization, and create the symbiosis between different species. What I mean is roles. So first one is culture. When it comes to culture, by that we mean building the culture of understanding that research is important in an organization. So by the time you are introducing the democratization, it shouldn't be a matter of question whether research is important for the product process or not. This should be something that is already established, that different roles need this research and they are hungry for it, and they want to learn as much as they can. And that comes with this hunger, that there comes a hunger also for the know-how, which means infrastructure. So the infrastructure is the tool set and the skill set that we provide to different roles to set those roles for success when it comes to research. And then the third one is voice. And by voice, we mean the insights and the conclusions and recommendations that help make the decisions. But that voice is something that we would like to go more in depth, because this, in a democratized world, might be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, so let's talk about the voice. So when we have monopoly on bringing the insights and talking to users, and we are the only one who are presenting users' point of view, it is like a super comfort situation because our value and our role is pretty clear. And it kind of changes with democratization, right? Because there are more people bringing in this value and talking to the users. So whatever we do, we need to show that what differs us from people doing research that are not researchers is not only the time spent on the research. So we kind of need to have unique voice, which means tremendous amounts of brain work and increasing your skill set all the time. So what makes a unique researcher's voice? So in Zendesk, for sure, one thing is scope. So we are trying to take on bigger questions that are about the whole area or a set of areas. Big questions that whenever you want to tackle it, you need more time, more skills, more organization as well. And usually when you want to answer the big question, the easiest answer to get is like this vague answer that doesn't really say much to the company or stakeholders. So the second thing that is important in researcher's voice is depth. So really looking at this question from different perspectives. So implementing different methods that are maybe more creative, or looking at different sources of data from industry reports to some secondary research on the quant data from the company. And then the third thing is analysis level. So the easiest thing you can do after the interview is do like kind of report. This person said this and that, and they like this and that, and this and that is a challenge, right? But the problem is ChatGPT can do it. It's not perfect at it, but it still can do it. So we need to look for analysis level that would be useful for stakeholders, whether it's about juicy insights or recommendations that are really giving a direction, or some models that help bring a lot of insights together and make it more memorable. Cool. So yeah, with this, researcher's voice can still be unique and important. And on the flip side, we have things that we don't need to do. So maybe what to democratize first. So there is no clear answer to that, but there are a couple of aspects you can take into account. First, for sure, is phase of the project. So discovery is the most important, most complicated part of the process, for sure. And also, it impacts the rest of the project, right? So if you don't get it right, a lot of unnecessary investment can be made. So maybe you can lean towards democratizing evaluational research, which are more straightforward, and also some things are easier to roll back if needed. Then we have method. So usability studies, again, pretty straightforward. On the flip side, for example, large-scale surveys, they go out to a lot of customers. A lot of people would see it. It's really easy to formulate the question in the wrong way, so maybe stick to it. And then risk and priority. So yeah, rule of thumb, if you can, just work on always the things that are priority. But yeah, the low priority, low risk projects are for sure the top candidates for democratization. Okay, so yeah, we know there are risks. We don't want you to think we are the fanatics of democratization. So we listed some. So yeah, bias sample for sure. So maybe somebody thinks, I don't know, PM, that recruitment is kind of difficult, so they keep reaching out to the same customers, right? So in the end, we are building the whole feature for the handful. Then we have top of mind concern, always poor quality of research. So if somebody don't have the right skill set to run the research, obviously it might not reflect the reality, so it doesn't really lower the risk, and this is the goal of the research. And then we have, for example, chaotic feedback gathering. So this is from the point of view of organization. Research is there also to build a knowledge within the organization. If there are reports on some piece of paper or mysterious Google Doc that nobody knows about, then it doesn't help, right, with building this knowledge. And from the customer point of view, we might be contacting people just too often, right, if we don't have it organized. So these are real problems, and if you want to democratize, obviously you have to actively counteract. So at Zendesk, what we do is we have something like DIY UX research training, which is a training that we've built. So if you want to use our tools, our infrastructure, our budget for research, obviously we are asking you to complete this UX research training. We have also office hours, so if you are not sure what to do, just drop by. We're happy to talk to you and consult anything. Then we have repositories, and we have 2 repositories. One is built within our Confluence, and it's for more structured reports and research plans. And then we have user voice that is used for more atomic insights. So if something comes up in a conversation with the customer or in the ticket or elsewhere, on the forum, for example, we put it in there. So repositories are important because they are building this knowledge for the whole company. They are also the tools that help you not do the same research again. And also, it's so easy to learn from them because you have research plans and reports there. So it's kind of like a perfect base of examples. And then we have also standardized recruitment processes. So they are ingrained into our tools. So it's physically impossible to, for example, contact the customer 2 days in a row. And Slack channel, you can ask UX research anything, either us or the bot called, what is it called? Unleash will respond to you. Or you can just always, message us as well if you're at Zendesk. Every area has their own dedicated researchers. So yeah, we think that even though there are some potential problems, and it's kind of scary, it's still possible to have a democratization that maintains good quality research and makes the researcher role still stay relevant.
So to sum it up, what does the researcher of the future or researcher 2.0 look like? Let's look at the yesterday, today, and tomorrow kind of distribution. So it started out with Homo questionarius. So the skill set was methods and tool set, and the strength was providing the research results. So that meant that it was demanded by someone from the team, and then the researcher provided. It went something along the lines 50% of respondents think X. And the threat here was the isolation of the role, researcher being a lone island. And then the influence was also limited. And then it progressed into today's collaborativus insighticus, which means that it moved to skills as collaborating with the teams and then having more of domain knowledge, combining research results with that domain knowledge and sharing it with teams. And the adaptation here is being, as a researcher, embedded in the product team, which means that it was a very, very close collaboration. And right now, we are reaching at the stage 3, or potentially moving into that, as we believe, strategus synthesarius, researcher 2.0. So the skills is not creating insights anymore, it's also connecting the dots, the meta-analysis, having a broader perspective to be able to feed the strategy of products and features. And seeing those patterns is a very big strength of Researcher 2.0. And here, adaptation is scaling impact and also building a research culture, not just research outcomes. And we want to leave you on a high note. So if you're still feeling a bit skeptical about democratization, we want to emphasize that there are some opportunities for researchers that present themselves when it comes to democratized world. The first one is scaling. So if you think about it, the huge backlog of things and constantly looking to meet deadlines and never-ending projects that have to be made when it comes to research is not our dream come true. We would love to have some more breathing room into doing the things that we want to, we are interested in. So maybe there is some exploratory research that you've been always dreaming about, but there is now not really a room for that. So maybe democratizing some of the research and giving the opportunity for other teams gives you that. And with that, maybe that exploratory research will give you also a bigger impact in the company and will influence the strategy of that of that company. Also, when someone when someone is in a field for long enough, there might be a good refreshment in being in other role, not only conducting research. So being a product manager, let's say, of the research, guiding others and learning from them getting inspired from the customers. And then there is also a form of engagement of our stakeholders, which is called IKEA effect. So we tend to overvalue the things that we help build. If we engage our stakeholders into doing this research actually by themselves, they might be more keen to listen to those results as well. And finally, it wouldn't be a presentation about evolution without quoting Darwin. So it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. So we can treat democratization as a threat, or we could look at it from a point of curiosity. And I really hope that it's in our DNAs when it comes to being curious. Thank you so much. And here are LinkedIn's if you want to reach out.
Thank you for staying till such an ungodly hour.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Thank you
Claps
once
for
again.
you.
Thank you once again. And we have the final opportunity to ask some questions. Do we have some questions in the audience? Oh, I see questions. Magda is coming to you.
Hey, it was fantastic to see you all put this together, by the way. And I wonder if we look at this through the lens of evolution, and we think that in the future this is going to be more strategic, what if the trend goes towards what we've seen, for example, in Tom from Intercom's presentation, more towards speed and down-to-earth thinking and smaller teams shipping things really fast? I wonder if you see the future of researchers within those kinds of structures.
Yeah, I think that there is even a conversation I'm having right now with one of the design managers about that. It's, I think that there is some level of agility that we have to think about how to present into our work, but definitely communicating what comes in each stage of the research process is something that helps, because even on the early days, we could share like some snippets from the research and then engaged stakeholders. Of course, if we are talking about having a decent sample, we definitely cannot draw conclusions yet, but at the same time, there are some things that we can share that could also influence the way the decisions are made. So if the team moves really fast, I think that we would have to lean towards that fast pace as well a bit without compromising the methodology. It's difficult, and I still feel like we are trying to figure that out, and I think that we haven't brought that discussion in the broader team, in our research team yet, but I want to.
Yeah, I think that we can, so yeah, you're talking about fast pace. I've heard a lot about it. I didn't see too much of it yet, right? So in the organizations, the planning is happening for quite a long time, and even if the delivery speeds up, maybe we can even deliver the discovery part before the delivery starts, and then it doesn't have to be like team comes back to us with each single question. Maybe we have like this foundation built beforehand, and in terms of evaluation, we can do it pretty fast. We're not that slow, you know. So I think we can manage it, or we will just retire by then.
True.
Hello. Thank you for this really insightful presentation. And I've got one question. Part of the researcher's identity is work ethos. And my question is how you help in spreading the work ethos among researchers who are not researchers, who are trained to be researchers, but they are people who just join you in this democratization approach or to making research. So the question is how you spread and help forging work ethos.
That's a great question. I don't have a straight answer. I would say that I was a lot of times very positively surprised. Like in terms of work ethos for researchers, it's for sure like curiosity about people, trying to fix their real problems. And I definitely seen that as part of company culture at Zendesk. So I don't feel that I've struggled with it so far, but yeah, I think that we have to put in place some tools to counteract potential future problems with that. So thanks for the inspiration.
Do we have another question? Yeah, there's a question right there.
Thanks for the talk. That was really good. I'm not a researcher, but in my company, I'm seeing opportunities to do research. So what advice would you give to somebody who's finding themselves doing research, but not as a researcher?
I think there are a couple of good materials in the internet, some books, and you could definitely reach out to us if you would like to seek some advice when it comes to starting out with some basics. So feel free to reach out, and definitely the curiosity part and just being really eager to find out is very good starting point. So if you feel that you have that and you are willing to encourage others to embed research in your process, that's more than great as a starting point. And do we have any specific advice for starters? I think that with picking customers that you want to talk to, make sure that they are represented, the good representation of who's using your product, and then try to ask as unsuggestive question as possibly. And these would be the first two that I would say.
I think that it really helped me at the beginning to be like kind of humble as well, like know that not everything will go well, have some distance towards the results that I get, and trying to evaluate whether or not they are good. So this was very useful. It was super useful for me to understand that not every session will go well. It was so hard at the beginning, and also when I was starting to interview in English, I was so stressed. And then I realized, well, they don't have to think you are smart. Like, nobody cares about that. It's not the point of the research. So I think that coming back to this thinking, well, what's the point of the research? What do I want to learn? Did I learn it? Did I learn it accurately? I think this was very useful. Like, doubting yourself. Great advice for starters.
An awkward silence. A lot of that.